Imagine a future where science cures sickness, innovation empowers people, and disease is a thing of the past. This is Janssen Research and Development, one of the Janssen Pharmaceutical companies of Johnson & Johnson. Today, by bringing together cutting-edge science and the most creative minds in the industry, Janssen is challenging some of the world's most devastating diseases.
Our mission is to eradicate cancer.
That's where Salesforce and Slack come in.
Janssen R&D represents one of the larger subsidiaries of the Johnson & Johnson organization, which is 140,000 employees worldwide.
So within Janssen R&D, there's probably well over a couple thousand teams. All of those teams hold knowledge and information, and it becomes landlocked, boxed in.
Luckily, changing the way organizations work is exactly what we do.
In large cross-functional teams, silos do tend to be present, but Slack is a knowledge base where everyone can go and find the information that is critical to their functions.
From research to development to the clinic, Slack is the digital HQ that connects everyone in one space, creating a faster, more efficient way to work.
Slack has been a game changer because it's enabled us to connect with each other, to flow information across teams, to flow information from different parts of the organization that we couldn't before.
The question we constantly ask ourselves is, how can we work at the pace of science?
That's the value of bringing Customer 360 into the digital HQ.
Being able to utilize these Salesforce tools together have helped us in simplifying how we operate on a day-to-day basis. It's very seamless how they come together.
Health Cloud and Tableau all in Slack, working together to build transparency and to drive efficiency.
If there are specific workflows that are needed for the work that is being done within that specific aspect of clinical trial oversight, we're building those into those channels too.
Slack huddles and clips have been a game changer for collaboration. We've been able to have conversations in advance, asynchronously. We've been able to connect folks together and share what's on their minds.
We can very quickly communicate with people, not just internally, but also externally. There's real-time conversation, real-time resolution of any issues impacting patients.
For every team across every function, a more pleasant, a more productive, a more human way to work.
So my favorite emoji, that's a very easy question. It's the party parrot. I just like the way it dances its head.
So we love our wow emojis.
The thank you emoji.
Building a culture of trust and collaboration leads to more productivity and efficiency.
It's enabling us to coordinate, communicate, and collaborate in ways that we have never experienced before.
Bringing us one step closer in the fight to eradicate cancer.
Wow. Wow, wasn't that just a special story? And what a special video. Please join me in welcoming Jennifer Hirsch and Chris Cutie to the main stage, please.
Thank you, Adnan.
Hi, Jen.
Nice to see you again.
Chris? Hi. That was just, first of all, thank you for joining us at Dreamforce. Just delightful to have you here. What a beautiful story, and just to see the massive impact and the mission that you're on at Janssen to eradicate cancer. So thank you.
Thank you.
Now I've got a couple of questions here. I brought them with me, okay? So now to both of you, Chris and Jen, I know your partnership is a unique one. And how do your teams work together at Janssen R&D? And Jen, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so my team SparkWorks is all about reinventing the way people and teams think and work together. And we do this by co-creating more adaptive and human ways of working. So when we innovate, we actually start with ourselves, right? Because it's really important to have that empathy and really understanding what it takes, and honestly, if it's a good idea or not. So when Chris was announced as the head of a new bladder DAS, I said, this is awesome, a great blank canvas opportunity to really start fresh with new practices, mindsets, and rituals, coupled with technology to really enable that to happen. Plus, Chris comes from small biotech, so unfortunately, I sent him an email because we didn't have Slack yet, and I said, "Hey, would you be interested in keeping those agile ways of working so that we can, minimize the organizational churn and burden that just happens over time?" So, and here we are today, with one download 18 months ago to now being on center stage here with you all today. Truly amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't say it better, Jen, and it's just an honor to be here. Having trained as a physician and realizing that it was an incredibly powerful opportunity to treat patients one at a time, but to have the opportunity to grow that real touch and to be able to offer treatments to patients around the world, that's what Janssen seeks to do. And so by establishing this disease area stronghold in bladder cancer, that's Johnson & Johnson planting a flag in the ground saying we care about these patients and we're in it for the long haul. And it's a very rare opportunity. I came from the biotech world where it was 40 employees and now it's 140,000 at J&J. Wow. To have someone like Jen say, hey, we're about to start this. Do you want to kind of break all the rules and try something new? And here's Slack. And really helping us accelerate the way we democratize share of voice and our reach to patients.
That's just absolutely amazing. So from a free trial to 18 months on the main stage, and then an organization be able to impact over 140,000 employees. That's absolutely amazing. Now, Chris, Janssen Oncology is on a big mission to eradicate cancer. As an industry leader in oncology, can you share what the impact has been for your organization to use Slack and Salesforce's Health Cloud?
Absolutely, Aden. So you wake up when the sun rises, you go to sleep when the sun sets, the science never stops, the patient need never stops. We have products that derive out of India, that are formulated in Germany, that are flown to Minneapolis and assembled. And to be able to have a seamless work stream where no one is waiting for the next meeting or saying, boy, I wonder if it's okay to schedule that meeting while Chris or Jen is in the car. Where we, and I think we've said it, and you've said it even better than me, we follow the sun. Someone can be working in Slack in India, being picked up by someone in Beerse, Belgium, and alerting my team Eastern Standard Time in Boston, and we don't miss a beat. It not only makes the work easier, it also allows each one of those people to share their voice and be just as important in the decisions that we make and ultimately the drugs that we develop. And it's a really powerful mission.
That's amazing, yeah. And the new digital HQ, you've got to be able to follow the sun, especially at the pace you're working. So Jen, how does Slack and Customer 360 help drive efficiency in teams like Chris's? And what are some examples of the impact that they've had?
Yeah, so as I said, my team is really focused on enabling the R&D teams and all of the functional teams. As you heard, there's a couple thousand teams within the organization, and they truly need to be mission-driven and outcomes-driven for our patients. So when we started, it was really a focus on connecting, purposeful, interconnected, and the frictionless flow of knowledge and information. How could we do that? And the team of team structure, as Chris has compound development teams, those are the asset teams, they set the strategy. And those teams then flow in order for the other teams to execute. The further away you go, the harder it is to get that right context and information. So we work with the teams that are in the work doing the work, because they need to decide how it needs to be different. They need to understand how they all need to work together, and then we help figure them out and then leverage the technology. So I have three powerful examples to share with you. The first is really around how we can triage and swarm 9 different organizations across J&J that, as you heard from Becca in the video, yes, it's big organizations are siloed. So we created a channel so that when, for instance, as an example, blood or tissue sample gets delayed at a site, the person at the site can immediately trigger a workflow. The right people who are accountable are named and swarmed in. And then we use emojis to track the progress to issue a resolution. It's powerful because it decreases the cognitive load. Everyone knows how to work. The process is bookmarked on top. And now we go from solving problems within days, meetings, and emails to no meetings, no emails, and done within hours. So that's pretty powerful. The second, as you mentioned, is being able to work with our external partners as if they're sitting in the room right beside us. And that has been a game changer for us because it is very challenging when there's walls up with companies to understand how information and who should be included back and forth. So we have our contract manufacturers in the channels where we can do patient scheduling and planning that out real time with Health Cloud, with Tableau, all right in the channel. If issues come up, another workflow gets triggered and it's solved. Again, no emails or meetings, and they're doing this all real time. And then the last example is really what Chris role models, which is quite incredible, creating the safe environment for teams to really work transparently. Because that's the hardest thing to change, is the mindset and how people believe work should get done. And so his CDTLs and compound development team leaders of these programs, real time after governance, will share a clip right in channel, what happened, what's the decision, what does this mean, and what's next. So folks that are on these teams that are several layers removed can immediately get that right information and context and be able to make better day-to-day decisions. When we first started that channel 6 months ago, it was with the 15 CDT team members. I just checked last night, we're up to 76 people in there, getting what they need so that they can work better, faster, smarter. It's quite incredible.
That's amazing impact. I just, maybe another time you have to tell me what the delayed tissue sample emoji looks like. So my last question, what advice would you both give leaders in your industry today about the future of work?
Yeah, when I joined Janssen, we were acquired just before COVID. It's unbelievable. In 2019, the head of oncology, who runs the whole organization, said, don't let us get in your way. Keep the biotech mindset, never stop. And leading by that example is how we've been able to do everything we do today, to have trials in over 50 countries around the world, to be able to enable a supply chain despite disruptions, geopolitical and otherwise. It really matters to people when they can see that they've had an effect on that outcome. When someone in a region says, I have an idea, puts it in Slack, tells us what they think might work, and we can execute to it. It allows our senior leadership to not have to be top down. It allows really a share of voice from the bottom up, and some of the best decisions, best outcomes we've had have been really crowdsourced from within the organization. So leading by example, having a leader say, don't let anything get in your way, but then empowering those who work with you to make decisions on their own is really heartening. And the patient is our true north. We are there every day to try our best to treat patients with respect, with dignity, and to eradicate cancer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That really puts things into context. Well, I just want to thank you both for joining us, sharing the massive impact that Slack is having for you and how you think about the future of work. Let's give them a big round of applause, please.
Thank you.
Wow, you just heard the future of work is definitely changing. I would love to invite up our Chief Product Officer, Tamar, to share how Slack thinks about the future of work.
Thank you, Adnan, and thank you, Jen and Chris. I think I can just go home. I think they did such a good job at showing the value of Slack that I don't really need to go through my slides, but I will. Anyway, that was amazing to see how they've integrated Customer 360 with Slack.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing, and that's why we brought the Customer 360 into the Digital HQ, for that exact reason.
Yes, and we heard this morning from Mark and Brett about Slack Genie, about Salesforce Genie, sorry, and the real-time Customer 360, and that actually brings us to Slack Genie.
So what does Slack Genie mean for our customers?
What this means is all of the goodness of Genie, the real-time Customer 360 that is in all the products of Salesforce, will now be accessible in Slack through all the integrations.
That's just amazing. I cannot wait to see what our customers build into Slack with Slack Genie. So folks, let's give Janssen one more round of applause, please. Tamar, over to you.
So you heard from everyone, it's a new day for work. We aren't going back. We're not going back to how we used to work. Some people are going back to the office, some people are in hybrid, some people are in remote, but we aren't going back to how we worked before because it actually wasn't really working for everyone. But now we all understand that it wasn't working. As Stuart said, we couldn't just take away our software. That was very clear. But we could take away a physical headquarters, and we could still get a lot done. As in the words of Brett Taylor at a recent Salesforce All Hands, he said, in times of disruption, it's the companies that embrace new ways of working that succeed. We heard from Janssen, they are fully embracing new ways of working. And here at Slack, we're here to help our customers do that. We want to help our customers embrace new ways of working. We've talked about the digital HQ. We've talked about it in the context Stuart talked about it, Mark and Brett talked about it. What is it? It's a place to come together, to collaborate, to make sure you can work in a flexible, inclusive, and connected environment. And you heard the value it brings to our customers, but how do we think about it and in the product? Let me break it down into 3 different areas of how we think about it. We think about making what was hard in the office better, bringing what we loved in the office into our digital HQ, and also bringing value that's unique that we couldn't have done in the office into the digital HQ. So let me start with what was hard in the office, making it better. Well, this is the core of everything we do at Slack. You've heard a lot about channels and how they make everything better. Well, channels are how you organize information. At Janssen, they use channels for new products, new research. So if some research takes 10 years to get out the door, think of how many new people might be starting in those 10 years. Well, people can come into the channel, they can get all of the history, and from the discovery through when they're done with all their trials, and that's a huge benefit. You have that transparency and democratization of information. We have clips, which I love using. I use for top of minds. I use for sending product feedback. We heard Chris talk about in his organization how they use it for transparency of information. I love talking to customers and just hearing all the new ways that people are using clips. You can reduce meetings. You send a clip, and this is asynchronous information, and you do have less meetings when you can work more effectively asynchronously. And workflows, I love those examples we just heard about workflows. And Janssen also uses workflows if they're patient scheduling issues. So if there's a patient scheduling issue, they can use a workflow and they can reduce the resolution time for issues from weeks to days. So it's incredible to see the efficiency that this gains us. We use workflows for things like daily stand-ups. There's so many examples of how you can use workflows. Slack Connect is a better way to connect with your vendors and partners, just like Janssen uses them for their trials, communicating with other people. And I loved Adnan's example of Stripe and how they're using Slack Connect with their customers. Next, we wanted to think about what we love in the office and we missed when we went remote. Remember when we first all went remote? You miss those serendipitous conversations that you would have in the hallway. Like Stuart would pop into my office at the end of the day and say, hey, how was your day? So that's why we created Huddles. So Huddles makes it really easy to have those quick conversations. What we're finding that I think is really interesting is the median length of a huddle is just 10 minutes. So instead of scheduling a 30-minute meeting, people are hopping on a huddle and having a shorter conversation. So they're having less meetings, and it's taking less time to resolve issues. So then what is value that's unique to the digital HQ that we didn't have in our offices? Well, if you were at the keynote this morning, you heard about Huddles co-working. So we added video to Huddles, and we're adding screen sharing and effects and reactions, and this is about making co-working better. So if you're working together with people that are in different locations, it's 1, more fun, and 2, more effective. Adnan talked about how everyone wants to find more effective ways of working. We've been using this internally for a while, and it is a more effective and more productive way of working. So what else is unique to the digital HQ? Well, we took Quip, and for those of you who know Quip, a collaborative document editing system, and we integrated it natively into Slack. And that's Canvas. So before I go into a little bit more detail about Canvas, I want you to think back of when you were in the office. And when you were in the office, there might have been a whiteboard, or there might have been a list that you put up on the wall with your burn down list for your bugs, or the number of sales deals that you want to close by the end of the week, the end of the quarter. And this was all in the building on the wall. But what if there were people in different locations? They couldn't see what was on your wall. They could only see what was on their wall. And what if these different people wanted to update the boards or the wall at the same time? They couldn't. So what if you could make that automated, and all of those updates would be automated? What if you had your single source of truth that could update your boards at the same time? Well, that's how we think of Canvas. Canvas is that board that can be updated automatically, and anyone, anywhere can see it. So what's going to be in Canvas? You're going to have links, you can have text, you can have images, you can have files. They're going to show as a preview in the Canvas. You can have links to external websites like New York Times, Twitter, YouTube. You can have videos that play inline in the Canvas without leaving them. It's fully integrated to Slack, so you can have links to other channels, to messages that are in the channel, or Slack profiles. You can put workflows in the Canvas, so workflows that you create with the workflow builder, you can put right in the Canvas, so you can execute them right there for the Canvas, never leave the Canvas, never leave Slack. You can embed any data from third parties into the Canvas so that you have that right at your fingertips, like Sales Cloud or Tableau Analytics, like Jen was talking about how they integrate Tableau. You could integrate it into your Canvas. You can comment on a Canvas, and the comments use Slack threads. So all of the goodness that you have in a Slack thread, you have available to you in comments in Canvas. Now, Canvas you can create and you can share in a DM or a channel, and you have a canvas that's associated with a channel. So if you have a channel talking about marketing campaigns, you can have a canvas that is associated with that channel of all the things and the information that you want to look at right there in that channel that you know you can find easily. So there's so many different uses for channels. You can onboard new employees. As I said, marketing campaigns is a great example. Incident reports, company newsletters. I've been meeting with customers and telling them about Canvas, and then they come to us and like, oh, we could use it for this and we could use it for that. So I can't wait till you all can use Canvas, and we'll see what you use it for. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Katie Augustus to do a demo.
Thank you. Thanks, Tamar. Hi, everyone. I'm Katie, and this is Amy. Amy will be your demo driver. Oh, yeah, give it here for Amy. Thank you. Amy's going to be our demo driver, and I will be your demo guide. So imagine that Amy over here is a program manager at a pharmaceutical company, and she is in charge of coordinating clinical trials. Slack and Canvas are critical for her getting her job done, so let's see how. Hey, Amy, can you pull up your Slack?
Got it.
Well, for those of you who've never seen Slack before, this is Slack. Ta-da! Thank you. It's Amy's digital HQ where she and her teams get work done. On the left, you can see all of Amy's channels. This is how she organizes her work. She's got channels for her team, channels for her trials, and channels for just staying on top of announcements. But here in the middle, this is Amy's trial channel. It's the place where she brings together all of the people who help her coordinate a clinical trial. She's got partners, vendors, researchers, fellow employees, and folks outside the organization, all coming together here to move this trial forward. And anybody can join this channel and get caught up on the activity in it, but when a new member joins Amy's team, or if someone needs to get up to speed quickly, that's where Canvas comes in. So let's click on that little rectangle, and this is Canvas. You can do anything with a canvas, but this is this channel's canvas. It's the place where Amy can put all the information anyone might need to understand the context of this channel right here. And she can update it whenever she wants. Here we have an overview of the trial, we have a clip from leadership, we have workflows for submitting status updates and profiles of key contacts. And the Canvas is connected. Amy has her Customer 360 apps pulling in data to provide a snapshot of the health of the trial. We have a visualization from Tableau with key metrics and a list of open service issues from Health Cloud. And this is how Amy makes sure that anybody at a moment's notice can understand the context of this channel right here alongside the channel. But, you know what, let's take a sec and go back to those open issues. As we said, Amy over here, she manages the operations of the clinical trials, but she's also responsible for helping to resolve issues that may impact the trial. And it looks like she's just gotten a notification in her support channel, and she's gonna have to go click over there and see if there's a new issue that needs her attention. Here we are, and this is her support channel. This is where she and her teams work on issues related to the trial. We can see that Health Cloud has actually posted a new issue about a delivery delay that's impacting her trial. And it's got all the information from Salesforce for everyone to see. So Amy's team, though, they move quickly. They're jumping in, they're swarming on this issue. And it looks like one team member has actually created a canvas to support the swarm. So just like take a step back for a sec. We saw a canvas that was associated with a channel. And now here, we're creating a canvas and sharing it in a channel. And when Amy opens this canvas, we can see that the team is using it to apply some structure and visibility to their process here and to stay connected to Salesforce, all within Slack. In real time, we're watching the team understand the issue, organize information, update the canvas. And all of the information that the team needs is right here, so they don't have to context switch to move this work forward. But another great thing about Canvas is that it's connected to all of the tools in your digital HQ. If we click on that little blue button up there, we can see that the team is already kicking off a huddle to chat through this issue live. Hey, Amy, you want to jump in?
Let's do it. Hey, team, just wanted to get an update on where we're at. Chuck, what's the latest?
Hey, Amy, thanks for asking. I just spoke to the courier, and they should be there in about 30 minutes.
That is awesome. I'm going to go ahead and update the case and let you guys get back to it. Thanks so much for jumping in so quick.
Amy and her team, they never had to leave to have that conversation. And now that they have a path to resolution, Amy can add her notes and update the case from right within Canvas. And this is how Amy uses Canvas to curate, organize, and share information to keep her team connected and her trial on track. But there are so many ways to use Canvas. You can plan executive briefings, you can onboard new hires, you can manage marketing campaigns. And we are right at the beginning of this journey, and we know that our customers are going to use Canvas in so many ways that we haven't even thought of yet. We're so excited to be bringing you Canvas next year. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Stuart to close us out.
Thank you. We're trying to stay on time, so I'm just going to say a very quick thank you. I don't know why they're showing this slide of Brett, but it's a good position. There we go. Thank you so much. Gosh, we're already late, but I'm going to do 15 seconds worth of, here's why I'm so excited. The idea of huddles on top of Canvas, I feel like in a year, maybe 2 years, we can get to the point where you're invited to a meeting and you say, nah, I'll just catch up on it later, which you can't do right now. You don't even get a receipt from the meeting that says that it happened. But when you put together all the notes, the presentations, the chat, I think it's going to be really magical. So with that, there is a whole bunch of resources at that URL, everything that Slack and Salesforce have to offer while you're here. Another QR code to scan. We're going to wrap this up real quick. If you are a Salesforce customer but not yet a Slack customer, there are special deals to be had. slack.com/dream. And we welcome your feedback. Use the app. And with that, thank you so much for being here today.